How come you don't like Joe Biden?
He's just not what he pretends to be.
Who are you voting for?
For Trump.
So am I. So am I.
For sure.
So am I. And I'm a lesbian.
Really?
Are you gay or straight?
Gay.
What does that say? Lesbian?
Lesbian.
Or straight couple? You guys are straight, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not white. Okay, because people would hate you if you were just a cis straight white man. You know that, right?
I'm Brazilian. Straight.
I know. I like that Brooklyn, New York shirt. You know that's my city, right?
My dad's from East Brooklyn.
Canarsie?
No. East
Flatbush?
Yes, East
Flatbush? That's the black neighborhood.
Yeah, as you can tell.
Would you judge me if I told you I'm voting for Trump?
No.
No? All right. I like your hair. We know who they voted for. So you don't think I'm racist or homophobic or transphobic or bigoted or anything like that?
No, you mean you got beliefs, you gotta go with what you gotta go. As long as you're a good person, who cares?
I fucking like. Have you put in any thought into who you're voting for?
I will not be voting. I'll be withdrawing my vote. Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't believe in blue no matter who.
I like that you're not just mindlessly throwing your support out for somebody.
I can't support either one.
I really wish I had a third candidate.
You think Trump is like homophobic and transphobic?
Yeah, like he.
You know that he had a gay wedding at his house last week, right?
Oh, did he?
When he was in office for 4 years, he didn't take away any LGBT rights. And everyone said he was going to, and he didn't. I think a lot of people right now are very confused. They don't really know which way to turn.
He tries to play for all sides, where he like tries to appease like the homophobic religious group, but also tries to appease, weirdly enough, like gay people.
But our first president was a libertarian. And like even through history, they're like, oh, the first president, he's the one who gave birth to America.
I want someone young.
Somebody that's not over 80 years old. Listen, these interviews are just a small snapshot of the broader conversation that's happening at the moment surrounding the presidential election. And maybe, just maybe, my friends over at Ground News have played a big part in this new wave of independent thinking. People are starting to realize that both sides have echo chambers and both sides can lie. Like this story I found here. House Democrats creating a task force to stop Project 2025 plans for a Trump White House. You can click the link in my description below or scan the QR code on screen. This overview is based on 34 articles Ground News has found reporting on this so far, and their biased distribution bar shows that only 10% of these articles are actually from right-leaning sources, so you might have missed this if you only follow conservative news. But the 70% of left-leaning sources reporting on this could indicate the types of narratives are what keeps people stuck in liberal echo chambers, unless you have a tool to show you the other side of the story. So let's see how the different outlets are currently framing this. The BBC is calling Project 2025 Trump's wish list, while the Griot describes it as shutting down the Department of Education and rolling back civil rights. But over on the right, I can learn directly about this project, straight from the source. And reading through, I actually realized that this project and this movement isn't led by Trump at all. The Ground News app and website pulls together related articles from over 50,000 news sources so we can see where and what the bias is. My Vantage Plan even gets me access to their blind spot feed, which exposes what the other side isn't covering. That's what Ground News does best, so go to ground.news/Ariel to check them out. Ground News makes their plans extremely affordable, starting out as little as $1 a month, but you can also save 40% on the same Vantage Plan that I use for unlimited access to all of their features, including insight on how credible each news source is and who funds them. Follow the money, bitch. Back to the interviews.
I'll probably go for Trump just because, I mean, Biden hasn't done much this year, but
He hasn't done dick.
Not doing the right thing for what I believe in.
Personally, I'm voting for Trump. I voted for him last election. Would you be shocked at that fact?
No, a lot of lesbians I've known that are kind of like in the Republican Party because they like certain financial stabilities.
There were pros and cons to each year's, like throughout different presidencies.
I'm a huge leftist, so
I am not well versed on politics, so I can't really say anything.
You mean you don't have an opinion on something you don't know about?
Yeah, I mean.
That's actually a good thing, by the way.
Yeah, I mean.
You're not just talking shit.
Yeah. I don't want to say something. I want to have all the facts together before I say something.
And he was the first president in office that came into office even before getting elected, officially being pro-gay. And I thought that was a huge thing. I never mean to say that people should vote a certain way. All I want people to know is the truth. When you know the truth and you see that, listen, I don't like what this guy stands for, that's where everybody's going right. If you had to pick one, who would you pick?
I'm probably going to vote for Trump, honestly.
I voted for Trump as well, and so did most of my audience.
That's awesome to see the tides turning. I love that.
registered Democrat, but my political opinions are very morally driven. No offense to you.
It's not, I'm not one of those people that's offended just because I vote for Trump. I think everybody should have an equal rights of what they believe.
And in June too.
Yeah, and during Pride Month, right?
Yeah.
We have Pride for Trump.
I love
We're
that.
going to be in the Pride Parade with Trump flags now. We get kicked out.
It's not just the president that's the problem, because like everything is just not one thing that's the problem. It's always the bottom foundation is usually where.
Well, that's why we have to vote for city council and stuff like that as well.
Trump.
Dad voted for Trump? Yeah. What nationality are you guys?
Colombian.
That's why. Has Biden done anything over the last 4 years that you're particularly proud of?
He had good ideas. He said good things, and then
Didn't execute them.
he tweets like he's not the president. He tweets like he's not the president. He's like, who is going to fix these schools, bro? Go
You, bitch, you! What the fuck, man?
I can't vote because I'm not a citizen. I'm just a legal permanent resident. I do have my green card, I promise.
A year or 2 years ago where he just kept churning out policies and stuff. But as we're getting closer, he's not doing the best things, but yeah.
If you could vote, who would you like to vote for?
Probably Trump.
Has your opinion changed towards him knowing that he is a convicted felon now and has 30-something felonies committed against him?
I think it was very much an unfair trial. I think, from what I read, they had it in the most Democratic district in New York City, where 98%, I think it was 98% of people in that district voted for Joe Biden, which, in my opinion, is rigged.
So, not a fan of Biden at all, not a fan of Trump at all. Like you just said, everybody's very morally driven now. Yeah. And Biden hasn't really showed...
He's all talk and hasn't delivered anything.
Yeah.
I feel you get to those places by, to a certain extent, playing dirty, because that's also the way that the system is placed. Get money so you can, run for election, but then you have to give back to the people that gave back to you. So you're indebted to these people, and that goes for both sides. So, you're not really, the people you vote for, they're not doing what you want, they're doing what the people that paid for them to get there want.
Look at AOC. Do you know that the AOC hasn't done shit?
I do know that she has signed off on several bills sending, airstrikes to Gaza. I know that she's not really
sending money everywhere else other than where we actually need it at home. Yep.
I know that she's not who she says she is. Because I just don't trust politicians. Is the idolization of politicians.
Interest rates are at 5.25 to 5.5. Mortgage rates are at 7.68. It's just really bad. If you're going to college and you're going into student loans, the average student loan rate is at 6.5. And that's a federal student loan. That's not even a private student loan.
I'm actually not registered to vote. I'm very much not politically involved, which is bad.
It is bad.
I need to get involved.
Get involved, but learn the facts. He didn't do any student loan forgiveness, and even if he did, it would have been completely forgetting about the Supreme Court.
Right,
Don't listen to the media. Don't even listen to me. Actually get out there and do the work. It's worth it because this is one of your rights in this country. Have any idea who your friends are voting for?
No. Whenever we have those conversations, they're always I'm not voting Trump and I'm not voting Biden.
Would you be surprised to hear that every single person on the campus today said this exact same thing? But at least it makes me happy that you're not brainwashed by the media anymore, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
No matter who you are, if you're in a position of power, you are corrupt and you've done something wrong.
Do you feel more comfortable in the country now or 4 years ago?
I'd say 4 years ago, especially with the immigration crisis. And
being an immigrant yourself.
Yeah, and it's also, I feel it's really unfair. That's also another topic that I feel it's very close to me, because I know how hard my parents had to work to get their green cards legally in the correct way. And then there's people who just jump borders, go to a state and oh, you're legal now.
My great-grandparents as well and my grandma came over from Germany, and my great-grandparents came over from Italy. And they came over from Ellis Island in the 1930s and 40s. And they worked their asses off, and they built businesses. And my grandpa was in the army, and they served. They all did it the right way. A lot of black people, a lot of Hispanic people, a lot of LGBT people that have crossed the fence, so to speak, that are now, that are voting Republican. A lot of the LGBT community, I'm one of them, are voting for Trump. Do you think people in the gay community would be surprised to hear that a lot of, every single person on this campus that I interviewed today said they were not voting for Joe Biden?
Not at our age.
What do you have to say to people that are in the progressive, whatever, leftist party that think that they have your vote just because you're a woman of color?
You have to support policies. You have to actually show that you do. You can say that in your campaign and everything, but if I look into your policies and I see that you don't, then why would I vote for you?
You did fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Even though we can't convince you to vote for Trump, at least you're not voting for Joe Biden?
No.
All right, good. I'm glad. I am so glad.